Joyce walked into the room hungry and tired after having an exhausting straight 4 hours lecture. She didn't know where strength came from, seeing Aduke, her friend and roommate, lying almost lifeless. She ran out and called for help, and within seconds, Aduke was taken to the hospital. The doctor examined her and discovered she just had an evacuation, and sadly, her womb got damaged. Aduke was attended to, and luckily for her, the bleeding was managed. She stayed in the hospital for 3 days before she was discharged. Getting back to the hostel, she became more damaged and battered. She said to her roommates, "Joyce, believe me, I am not a bad girl. Circumstances pushed me into this. I would have told you because I know you would have given me a good counsel. But I didn't want to disappoint my mother. I know Bami will laugh at us. Now look at the result of my action without thinking. So my friend, Aduke will never be a mother in this life and in the life to come. Joyce, so my price for 2 million naira is my generation. Please tell me this is a lie. Tell me I'm still dreaming. Oh God, why me? Why Aduke? I told you do not give your children burdens you haven't equipped them to carry." Joyce was totally lost. She was sailing on the ocean because everything Aduke said sounded strange. She had to ask, "Aduke, I am lost. What are you saying? What is the genesis of this whole thing?" Aduke had to pull herself together to tell Joyce the whole truth. The both of them cried for hours, and that was their dinner for that evening. Aduke vowed never to do anything again with any man. 400 level came in a bit, and Aduke still remained firm in her decision. Jay advised her to open up and give love a chance, as there is nothing impossible with God. And besides, the doctor's reports can never be the final verdict over one's life, no matter how glary it is. Aduke appreciated her for being a friend and a sister she never had, but remained firm in her decision. Months later, they graduated from school, and Aduke still battled with guilt. And knowing that she won't be giving mommy grandchildren, she rented an apartment just to avoid questions that would make her spill the truth to her. One day, Aduke met Mike in a supermarket, and since her rented apartment wasn't far from the supermarket, it wasn't difficult for him to locate her house. He was going on a daily basis, begging for attention and a date, having constantly heard from Jay and her advice that she should give love a chance. She decided to give it a try. Mike was a very handsome-looking young man who was either in his late 20s or very early 30s. He was Igbo by tribe. They went on a date or two. They spoke at length, and he was fun to be with. Aduke enjoyed his company a lot. He was very caring and kind. He calls her first thing at dawn and doesn't go to bed without hearing from her. He was into sales of electronics, and he buys goods directly from Japan and other countries. It wasn't difficult falling in love with him because he was a full package. Things were going fine with them. They had become fond of each other. The love between them was visible to the blind. It's been months, and clearly their relationship was going serious. Aduke didn't want a sexual relationship, and Mike obliged. It was time she met his parents. Aduke was a little nervous. What if his parents doesn't like me? What if I'm not what his mother wants for her son? She had so many thoughts going through her head. Finally, she met his parents and 3 sisters. His father and sisters seemed to like her a lot, but his mother, she wasn't so sure. So Chinedu, you didn't see any of our Igbo sisters to marry. You had to travel to the far west to get a wife, his mother had said without trying to hide her feelings. Biangozi, in this age and time, you are still involved in tribalism. Let the young man marry whoever he wants to, his father said in his defense. Mama, Aduke is the one I love and want to marry. Please stop all this. If I had seen an Igbo girl that I love as much as I love Ede, why not? I would have settled with her. But unfortunately, Aduke is the one I love, Mike said. Aduke was so happy to have Mike. A man that could defend her before his mother and family is really worth it. She strongly believed he loved her so much and would accept her for who she is. Okay, Chinedu. Your father has obviously given his blessings and consent. I can't stand in the way then. She then turned to Aduke and said, Bia, Omo Yoruba, make sure to take proper care of my son. No. As you can see, he is my only son. She said this and hugged her. Aduke felt blessed and welcome to the family. God is indeed faithful, she said within herself and rejoiced. It was a very beautiful Friday evening. Mike had asked that they went to see a movie together. Aduke agreed and they saw a very interesting one. After which, he asked that they had dinner in a very fancy restaurant. While they had their meals halfway, Mike went down on one knee, brought out a sparkling diamond ring and asked Aduke to be his wife. Aduke, this past few months with you had been the most adorable moment of my life. I just can't imagine my life without you in it. Please, would you be Mrs. Mike Chinedu Okolie? It was a beautiful moment. Of course, Aduke had to say yes, smiling, stretching out her left hand. Mike placed the ring on her middle finger. When they were through, Aduke went home rejoicing. Everything seems to be working for her good. She called Joyce and told her the latest developments. She even called her mother and gave her the good news. Mommy was very happy. She demanded to see Mike in person. The next weekend, Mike and Aduke had to travel home in his car to see her parents. Bami was so very happy. He couldn't stop singing Aduke praises to Mike. How he is so proud he trained her in the university. And today, Aduke is great and responsible. How he is blessed to have a daughter like her and so many other stories. Aduke and her mother glanced at each other. Like Bami even knows the university she went to, the course she studied, or how much a textbook cost. It was so annoying as it takes credit for Mommy's labor. But Mommy gave Aduke a sign not to say anything. Mike knelt down in appreciation to Bami for all he did for Aduke. He made his intentions known. The both parents liked him, so there was no objection. He came with some sophisticated wine from Japan for Bami, and he was very delighted. Mike passed the night in an hotel and at dawn, then went back. Weeks passed and Aduke's conscience was eating her up. She kept hearing in her head the need to tell Mike the truth. She called Jay and told her she was confused and didn't know what to do. Should I keep mute and marry him, believing God for a miracle? Or should I tell him the truth? She asked Jay. I know how difficult this is for you. Trust me, I do. But you see, it is better you tell him the truth. Any relationship built on lies can never stand. You said Mike loves you very much, so I don't think he would desert you when you tell him the truth. Moreover, my sister, it is better you serve someone with a hard and bitter truth than lies covered in fanciness, Joyce said. After much consideration, Aduke decided she was going to tell Mike the truth about herself. A date had been fixed for the introduction ceremony, but she decided to let the cat out of the bag before the introduction day. It was a beautiful Sunday evening. She had texted Mike that she wanted to have a conversation with him at her place. He obliged and promised to be there at 4 p.m. Some minutes past 4 p.m., she heard a knock at the door. Obviously, it was Mike. All of a sudden, She felt the strong cold all over her. She didn't know what to do. She slowly got to the door and opened it for him to come in. She gave him a rather cold hug. "Dear, are you okay?" Mike asked. She nodded her head in affirmation. He sat down on the bed. Aduk joined him, but couldn't say a word. She didn't know how to begin. "Okay, you said you wanted to talk to me about something. What is it?" he asked calmly. She didn't know how to begin the conversation. "Now you are making me scared. Is your mommy okay?" he asked. Aduk nodded. "How about Bami? Is he okay?" Aduk nodded again in affirmation. "So what is it? You are making me scared." "Dear, you know you can tell me anything. Just anything," he said politely. "Mike, do you love me?" Aduk asked him. "Come on, honey. You know I love you more than I love myself. I will do just anything for you, even give my life if need be," he said. "So talk to me," he reassured her. "Mike, I am not a perfect person. I did something few years ago and I'm not proud of it. Honey, see, whatever you did in your past, it is in your past. I didn't meet you in your past, but now. So don't let any of that bother you. I love you so very much. Let your past die as your past," he said. "That is the problem. This past cannot die with the past, as it affects my present and even my future," Aduk said, bursting into tears. "Dear, what is this past that you speak of with so much magnitude? Talk to me. I will help you carry the burden," he said. "I had an evacuation some years ago and it affected my womb. The doctor said my womb was damaged and may not be able to bear children," Aduk said in so much pain and tears. It was as if Mike was frozen for some minutes. He couldn't blink his eyes nor say a word. "Mike, I am sorry. I didn't do it intentionally. I was raped. I was caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. I am sorry, Mike." He gently removed his hands from hers, kept staring at her like he had a lot of questions to ask. "Mike, say something. Please, I am sorry. I really am," Aduk said in tears. "When you refused to go down with me, I didn't mind because I thought you were a virgin. Didn't know you aren't one. And to make matters worse, you have a damaged womb," Mike said. "Mike, I didn't tell you I was a virgin. I just don't want to get involved in a sexual relationship. I didn't lose my virginity or damage my womb deliberately. It wasn't intentional. Please hear me out. I will explain everything." Mike looked at her in disdain, went out and drove off. Aduk tried calling him. She called and called. All through that day, he wasn't picking. She called for some more days. He wasn't still picking. It was few days to the introduction. She hadn't heard anything from him. She went to his house several times, but met his absence. Mommy and Bami were making preparations from the end. She didn't know what to tell them. It was a day to the introduction. She hadn't traveled home. Mommy had called her several times. She then decided to visit my parents. "Good afternoon, Ma." "Good afternoon, sir," she greeted. "Good afternoon, my dear," his father answered, but his mother didn't. Rather, she gave her a disgusting look. "What are you doing in my house?" his mother asked unfriendly. "Ma, our introduction is tomorrow. but I haven't been able to reach my husband. May doors cut off that tongue of yours. You use it referring to my son as your husband. My son can never ever get married to a loose woman, a shameless prostitute, let alone one without a womb. Get your shameless and disgusting self out of my presence. Mom, enough with the names calling, Mike said as he walked out. Allow me talk to this gold digger. I knew it. I knew something wasn't right the first day I set my eyes on this cheap slut. Aduk was practically shivering. She judged me completely without hearing my side of the story, she said within herself. She looked at Mike. I am sorry, Aduk. I can't marry you, Mike said. My daughter, my family's name cannot be erased from the surface of the earth. Mike is my only son and he needs to procreate, his father added. Aduk cried and walked out quietly. Even as she left, she could still hear his mother raining insults on her and calling her names. Do I blame her? That's the society we live in, always quick to judge. But then, there are consequences to every action taken, deliberately or indeliberately. Aduk was lost in the ocean of her thoughts. She didn't know she had walked into the main road. Boom! That was all she heard, and then she blacked out. Waking up, she found herself at the hospital and felt this sharp pain on her head. A guy who was there hurried out to get the doctor that she was awake. The doctor did some observation. I told you, she didn't sustain any major injury. She passed out due to shock. The injury on her head is a minor one sustained from the fall, the doctor told the guy. Aduk was wondering who the guy was. She remembered what happened, that she was hit by a car on her way from Mike's place. The doctor left, leaving her with the strange guy. Thank God you are awake, the guy said. And who are you? Aduk asked him. Well, I'm the younger brother to the man that hit you, he said. So your brother isn't a qualified driver. Who gave him a license anyways? Is that how he goes about knocking people down while he drives? Aduk asked angrily. Well, that wasn't what I heard. I heard you walked into the vehicle and not the other way round. He defended his brother. Was I expecting anything less? You were definitely going to speak for your brother, Aduk said angrily. He just gave a smile and didn't say a word. Aduk's heart went to her supposed introduction and her phone. How long have I been asleep? She asked him. Over 24 hours, he said. Over what? My goodness! It's already day of my supposed introduction. She tried getting up forcefully, forgetting the drip she was receiving. You can't do that. Please gently, the strange guy said, as he assisted her to sit upright. Where is my phone? Aduk asked him. I think it is right here. He opened the drawer by the bed and brought it out. It wouldn't stop ringing, so I had to switch it off and kept it in the drawer, the guy said. What? How dare you? How dare you switch off my phone without my permission? Aduk asked angrily. Mommy. She remembered her mother would have been very worried as it was the day of her supposed introduction. She quickly put on her phone and placed a call through. Hello, Mommy. Hey, oh, Mommy, what happened? Neither you nor your husband to be showed up. Your father and kinsmen have been angry. Oh, Mommy, what actually happened? She asked. She wanted to tell her that Mike had called off the engagements and marriage when she felt a pain on her head yet again. The pain reminded her she was in the hospital, and so she decided to use it as an excuse. Mommy, I am at the hospital. I was involved in an accident. That's why we couldn't make it. Oh, wow. Aduke, what happened? How manage? Are you okay? Hope it's not serious. She was asking so many questions at a time. Her exclamation had attracted those around her. Aduke could hear people asking, Iya Aduke, what is it? Kilo Shele, what happened? There must have been those who honored the invite for the introduction. Mommy Aduke was involved in an accident. That's why they didn't show up, she said to them in tears. Aduke could hear them asking if she was okay out of concern from the background. Aduke, should I start coming? Her mother asked anxiously. No, mommy. Don't stress yourself. I will be fine. Moreover, Mike is here and is taking good care of me, she added, trying to make her relieved. Okay. If you say so, give Mike the phone. Let me thank him for all he's doing for you, her mother said. Oh my. Aduke didn't see that coming. Mommy, he has stepped out to get me some fruits, she covered up immediately. Okay, my daughter. Please take care of yourself. I will call you later to check up on you, she said as she ended the call. Aduke felt better, at least for some time. Let them think the accident was what prevented the introduction. I will explain to Mommy that Mike had ended things in due times. While she was still lost in thought, a voice brought her back. I am actually Williams and not Mike, the strange guy at the hospital said. She was looking at him, trying to get what he was saying. You told someone over the phone that Mike was here taking care of you. I am the only person here, so I'm just telling you the exact name, the guy said. Aduke smiled. Oh, that? Sorry, not you. No problem. By the way, I am Williams and you are? I am Aduke, she replied. It's nice meeting you, the guy said, and Aduke just waved through because she wasn't ready for any form of discussion. She stayed another day and she was ready to go. You know your brother is so irresponsible. I have stayed here 2 days in this hospital and now I am about going home. He didn't even come to check up on me, Aduke said to Williams. Oh no, it's not really like that. The thing is, his wife was in labor that very day he hit you. He was rushing to the hospital, so he has been with her and he asked me to be with you, which I have diligently been doing, he said smiling. I guess she must have put to bed, Aduke asked. Oh yes, it is a bouncing baby boy, he replied. Oh, thank God for her, and thank God for safe delivery as well, Aduke said. Williams insisted on driving her home. She obliged as she didn't even have the strength to trek. Very soon, they arrived at Aduke's place. Thanks for the ride, she said, alighting from the car and walking in. Please take your medication and rest. You heard the doctor, right? William said. I will. Thanks once again, Aduke said without looking back. She got in and her loneliness reminded her of her predicament. Oh God, is this how my life is going to be? Am I going to die an old lonely spinster? She wasn't crying because she was old and single. She was just 26, still in her prime. She was just curious. If Mike, who she thought loved her so much, could run away at her revelation, then apparently all hope is gone. She cried her eyes out, forgetting she was supposed to be resting. She would look at her phone 1,000 times, expecting a call from Mike or text from him that they should continue with their plan. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Having waited for some hours, she decided to call him. She called and it rang, but no answer. She called for like 5 more times before he finally picked. "Hello, Mike," Aduke said, but there was no response from his end. "Hello? Hello? Hello?" she kept saying before he responded. "Hello," sharply. "Honey, I am sorry. Please find a place in your heart to forgive me. I love you so much. Aduke, I hold nothing against you. There is practically nothing to forgive. We are still friends, but definitely can't be husband and wife." "Mike, but you said you loved me. Mike, please." "Aduke, love is never enough. Please take care," Mike said and ended up. Aduke felt as if her whole world had crumbled. She wept and continued calling him all the night until his mother picked the call and gave her the insult of her life. "You shameless piece of trash. Aren't you supposed to be hiding your head in shame? You are looking for a place you don't deserve to dwell, where you are just an empty vessel. You are nothing and of no use. So please stop fooling yourself and stop calling my son." "Mom, enough of all the insults. What is it now? Why would you answer my call in the first place? Please, Aduke is nothing like that. Stop all this," Mike said. "If she is a saint, as you earlier claimed, why is she without a womb? Oh, I see. Pregnancy now comes from above. She must have useless herself with all kinds of men." "Mom, I may not have known what happened, but I still believe Aduke isn't a bad person nor a wayward girl." Aduke could hear the heated argument between Mike and his mother. They probably thought the call had ended, even though she was down due to the insult from Mike's mother. On the other hand, she was happy that Mike still defends her, even in her absence. Mike started calling her, but she was too down to pick up. He sent messages apologizing on behalf of his mother, but Aduke didn't reply any. The next day, exactly 7 a.m., she didn't go to work. She had already taken permission for some days off for her supposed introduction. She heard a knock at the door so early. She knew Mike would come for her because he loves her so much. Moreover, that he defended her shows his love for her is still intact. So she walked up happily to her door to behold her love again. Getting to the door, she couldn't believe who was standing before her. It was Mommy. "Oh, Mommy, how are you? I mean, what happened? Hope it isn't serious. Are you okay?" She was anxious and checking her body from head to toes. She observed the little bandage on her head. "Aduke me, how does it hurt? Are you okay? Why did you leave the hospital?" She was asking so many questions. "Mommy, I thought I told you not to come. Why did you have to stress yourself? And see how early you came. You must have left the house before the break of dawn." "My daughter, I couldn't sleep all through the night. My heart was uneasy. My daughter that is about getting married suddenly got involved in an accident, and you want me to take it lying low?" she asked. "Oh yeah, have your bath, come and eat and take your medication. I know they would have given you some at the hospital," she added. There were so many things on Aduke's head. Honestly, having a bath and eating weren't part of them. But she had to comply, else her mother would notice. She reluctantly went to the bathroom and had a bath. Coming out, her mother had served white rice and catfish pepper soup she brought. The food looked so yummy, but Aduke had no appetite for it. She had a little and took her medication. "So, my daughter, talk to me. When did this happen and how did it happen?" Mommy asked. "Mommy, It was yesterday morning, Aduke said quietly. Yesterday morning? But why did you stay back till yesterday morning? Didn't we agree that you were going to come home days to the introduction? Why did you delay? She asked. At this point, Aduke was confused. She didn't know if she should disclose the situation between Mike and herself to her mother. She looked at her with so much pain in her heart because she knew the news would break her. Mommy, Mike called off. He doesn't want to get married to me anymore. I went to see him yesterday to plead with him, but his mother gave me the insult of my life. It was while I was coming back from his place that I had the accident. Her mother was speechless. It was as if she was in a trance. She just stared at space. Mommy, Aduke called her. What happened? Why did he do that? I mean, Mike seems to love you so much, her mother said, already in tears. Aduke was broken to see her mother in so much pain. She just couldn't bring herself to tell her she's without a womb, and that was why her introduction was called off. And so, she had to forge a lie. His mother doesn't want him to marry a Yoruba girl, being an only son. Mommy quickly wiped her own tears, opened her arms and said to her daughter, Come. She hugged her tightly. Aduke was already crying profusely. My daughter, you are Yoruba and be proud of it. Don't allow anyone make you feel less of being who you are. You will be fine. Trust me, you will, she encouraged. At about 10 a.m., they heard a knock at the door. Who is it? Aduke asked. It's me, Williams. Aduke opened the door and saw Williams standing with so many bags. These are yours, he said as he handed the bags to her. Thank you, Aduke replied. May I come in? He asked. Sure, please do, Aduke replied. Getting inside, he saw Mommy and he greeted her respectfully. This must be your mother. No need to ask. The face had done the talking. You are welcome, Ma. Thank you, my son, Mommy replied. Aduke, who is this? She asked. Oh, Mommy, meet Williams, a friend I met yesterday. Actually, he was the one that took care of me at the hospital. Well, even though it was his brother that got me there in the first place, Aduke teased. Come on now. Mama, please don't mind her. It wasn't intentional. Williams was able to light up their mood. He stayed for some time and then said he was leaving. Aduke saw him off to his car. You know I don't have your phone number. I would have called to check up on you. So will you mind giving me? He asked. Aduke stretched forth her hand, took his phone and saved her number on his contact list and waved him a goodbye. When she got in, Mommy said to her, Oh, Mommy, that boy looks like a very nice person. Well, yes, I think so, Aduke replied. And I think he likes you, Mommy added. Mommy, come on, I don't think so. He's just being a good Samaritan. Okay, if you say so. But I know what I saw and I am convinced it is love, Mommy said. Wow. My mother is now a love daughter, Aduke said, and they both laughed. Mommy stayed for 1 week and Williams was always coming around to see her. When she was finally leaving, he still came around. Mommy turned to her daughter. Aduke me, please take good care of yourself. Be strong. This too shall pass. Aduke hugged her like she wanted her to stay more. Mommy then turned to Williams and said, Please, my son, help me take care of my daughter. Oh, no problem, Mama. She is in safe hands. He volunteered to drop Mommy at the park and they were very grateful. Some days later, Aduk was still missing Mike and still hoping he would call her one day. She was always very sad whenever she was alone. Just when she was in that mood, Williams came visiting and she faked a smile. "You don't look too happy, even though you smile and laugh, but your eyes seem to always betray you," Williams said. "My fiancé called of our introduction a day too. That was what I was thinking about when I didn't see your brother coming and walked into his vehicle." "So? Is that why you were sad?" "Any man, any man that wouldn't want to marry you is definitely blind. Na him lose o. So don't let that bother you in any way. A broken relationship is definitely better than a broken marriage," he encouraged. After several months, Williams and Aduk became quite close, and Aduk was very comfortable with him. They could barely go a day without seeing each other or hearing from each other. Then he asked her to be his girlfriend one cool evening, and Aduk agreed. Things were going smoothly and beautiful. He was very perfect. Aduk didn't want to make the same mistake she made with Mike, of not telling him about her situation early enough. She decided to tell Williams before they start involving their families. She went to his place one evening, and then she brought the conversation. "Babe, I have something to tell you. Relationship is based on sincerity. I wouldn't want to keep this away from you," she said. "Okay, dear, I am listening. You can tell me anything," he said. "Williams, I had an abortion about 4 years ago and it affected my womb. The doctor said it will only take a miracle for me to conceive as my womb has been damaged," she said to him in tears. Williams looked at her for some minutes without saying a word. "Williams, say something. Please say something. It wasn't intentional. I am sorry." Williams drew her closer to himself and hugged her tightly. Aduk was so at peace with herself and happy he didn't walk away like Mike did. She was grateful to God for making her find the one who loves her unconditionally. "Honey, I appreciate your sincerity to me. But why do you think you can't bear kids like every other woman?" he asked politely. "The doctor said my womb was damaged," Aduk replied. "Well, we would have to consult another doctor. Maybe that one didn't know what he was saying," Williams said. "Indeed, that could be true. Williams has a point. There isn't any harm consulting another doctor," Aduk thought within herself and then agreed. So they chose a date to meet with a gynecologist. Getting to the hospital, Aduk's heart was beating fast. She was honestly praying it would be a wrong diagnosis from the previous doctor, and this one would tell them she's perfect and in good condition to carry a baby. After some examinations and scans, the doctor asked them to be with him in his office. "Well, I am going to make this as simple as possible. You see, some damages were done to your womb. Nevertheless, it doesn't erase the possibility of conception," the doctor said. "So, doctor, what you are telling us is that she can conceive?" Williams asked. Aduk, on the other hand, was already in tears. "Well, Mr. Williams, that isn't really the case. She has a very slim chance," the doctor explained. "On a scale of 1 to 100, what's the percentage?" Williams asked. "To be very frank with you, it is less than 10. It will take a miracle for a possible conception," the doctor explained. Aduk was in so much pain, just like the first time she heard the news. Williams held her hands. She knew it was hard for him too. Their relationship went on smoothly. Aduk was amazed at his love for her. Her service was coming to an end. In weeks, she would be done. One day, Williams called and asked her what her plan is after her service. You should be staying or be relocating back to Lagos. Aduke then said to him, "You know, as an only child, I wouldn't want to live far from Mommy. I rented this apartment because I was running away from the truth. But not anymore. I will want to be with her. But that won't stop me from visiting here often because my heart is here." William smiled when she said that. "That's a good one. I, on the other hand, you know I've been working on having my master's in Canada. Well, it has been approved and I shall be traveling in 2 months. Aduke was very happy for him because that has been his dreams. "Promise me you will come back for me," she said. "Of course, dear. I will." Thankfully, she had finished her service. She stayed 2 weeks with Williams before relocating back home. Her mother was very happy to see her. She was overjoyed. Aduke had told her she was coming, and so she had made a delicacy of chicken stew and rice. Mother's love remains the best. "So how is that fine man, Williams?" her mother asked. "Mommy, so you won't even allow me relax before wanting to get gist from me?" "Well, Williams is fine, and actually we are now together," she told her mother. "It is very clear my daughter is going to end up with an Omo Igbo." "It is okay. I heard they are nice people and that they can take very good care of their wives," Mommy added. "Mommy, where did you hear that one?" Aduke asked, laughing. "Yes, so who doesn't know Igbo men are loving and caring? You hear them call their wives mommy and making sure they and their kids are living fine. Igbo men are good, Joe," Mommy said. "Mommy, all tribes have the good, the bad, and the terrible. There are good men in Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Urobo, Benin, Calabar, and in every other place in this Nigeria." "Okay, oh, if you say so. But mommy, when is the wedding bell ringing?" "Abba, Mommy, not anytime soon, oh," Aduke replied. "Not anytime soon, Bawo. Why?" "Mommy, Williams is going to Canada for his master's, so we can only begin to plan about wedding when he's back," Aduke explained. "But can't he pay the bride price before leaving?" Mommy asked. "Oh, come on now, Mommy. Why the rush? No, let him go and come back," Aduke said. Several months on, Williams had traveled. The first few months were wonderful. He was always calling to check up on Aduke. They were communicating just fine and everything was perfect. But gradually, everything changed. He wasn't calling her as much as he used to. Aduke felt it was educational-related constraint. She tried to understand him. But then it went worse from calling her once in 3 days to once a week. Even when she calls him, he wouldn't answer her call. She would only leave a message, which usually takes days to get his reply. From once a week, it dropped to once a month, and eventually he stopped calling. That was when it was dawned on her that Williams was trying to end things between them, probably because of her situation. Notwithstanding, she didn't want to jump into conclusion. What if he's going through a tough time? She tried to make excuses for him and kept calling repeatedly, but he wasn't taking her calls. One afternoon, she was home when she received a mail. She opened it and it was from Williams. She was very happy because she hadn't heard from him in 3 months, as he doesn't take her calls or call either. The letter read, "Dear Aduke, I am extremely sorry things had to end this way. I thought I could be there for you. I thought I could stand by your side. But unfortunately, I don't even know my strength. You are a very nice person, and honestly, I would have loved to spend my forever with you. But like you know, I am a lover of children, and I can't imagine not having one of my own. I am sorry if this hurts you in any way. Please, that isn't my intention, but I'm sorry we can't continue the relationship. Be strong and continue to be a beautiful soul that you are. My prayers are with you. Williams. Aduk felt her heart jumped out of her. How could Williams do this to me? I thought he was different. I thought I'd found the one. Oh my God. What have I done? How did I get to this point? I thought it is said that the truth will set one free. Why has my own truth held me captive? She cried her eyes out. Her mother came and met her. She tried to hide the pains she was feeling, but Mommy got her. Oh, Mommy, what happened? She asked anxiously. Aduk really needed a shoulder to lean on, so she had to tell her mother, Mommy, William just broke up with me. She didn't know her father was just entering the house and overheard her. Won't you take this child of yours for cleansing? First, it was a broken engagement. Now this. Are you sure this one will be able to get married? The man said. Or call me. Why will you say such a thing about our child? I mean, she's going through a lot already, Mommy defended. So you haven't seen the handwriting on the wall? Okay, oh. Which one is my own self? He said as he walked inside. My child, it's okay. It's okay. Please be strong. Be strong for me. 3 days on, Aduk was yet to recover from the shock. At this time, Williams had blocked her from calling him and on social media. Her mother walked up to her in the room and said to her, Oh, Mommy, I've been thinking about what your father said. Even though he may not have presented it in a pleasant way, but I think he is right. It is high time we sought for help. What do you mean, Mommy? Aduk asked confused. My daughter, I am forced to agree with your father that perhaps this thing is a spiritual thing. 1 minute, the men are in love with you and willing to marry you. The other minute, they are not. Let's not wait for situation to get worse before we swing into action, her mother said. Aduk opened her mouth in shock that her parents, especially Mommy, now thinks she has a spiritual problem. Hey, African Tales by Kamma tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. What do you think about this episode? Do you think Aduk should tell her mother what the problem is? And do you also think she is doing too much by telling the men in her life the situation? Or she rather keeps her mouth shut until she enters the marriage? For me, that would be worse. Let me read your thoughts in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe if you have not. Drinking coffee and telling stories wouldn't be bad. So please, if you want to support my channel, kindly use the link on my bio or the link on the description of this video to buy me coffee. You can as well buy me super things. Till I bring the next episode of the series your way. It is a goodbye from here and God bless you.